H&R Pardner pump protector. It's a 12 gauge pump that I got at Dick's Sporting Goods for under $200 stock. Now, obviously this isn't a stock setup. It's a work in progress, but I think it's a good alternative to a Remington 870, which is an 870 clone, meaning that it's based off the 870. In fact, most accessories are interchangeable between this and an 870. I think the only things that aren't are barrels and maybe mag tubes, and I think that's because where the barrel lug on the Remington stock barrels are at. I know that they can be modified to work with an H&R Pardner protector, but I don't know how in depth that process is. So I just kind of wanted to go over some of the main points of actually why I think this is a better gun than the Remington 870 Express that you'll see in most stores now. If you want to Google it, you can Google 870, Remington 870 and H&R Pardner pump protector comparison. And a guy out there actually who works in metallurgy bought an 870 and bought an H&R Pardner protector 12 gauge and chopped them up. He had an 870 Express and chopped them up and actually found that the metals used in the H&R Pardner are actually better than an 870 Express. The action's smoother. It's a little heavier, but I actually think you get better metals with the H&R versus an 870 Express. And I don't know all the details and all the terminology there, but I would recommend, if you're thinking about getting an 870 or an H&R, look it up and read that post. Just Google it and you should be able to find it pretty easy. That's pretty interesting. Anywho, if you have an 870, you'd be able to tell that looking at this one, there's a little bit different of a profile here. The 870 is a little more rounded. This is kind of more square. I actually think this looks meaner for a tactical shotgun, which is really what this is designed for, because it comes with a mag tube that I believe is 5-in-1. Where a hunting style would stop here at the foregrip. This has got 2 more round capacity. There's a guy out there that actually makes a 2-round extension for this, for the mag tube, that's flush with the end of the barrel. I think it adds 2 rounds. You can't use one that's meant for a 870 because it'll either, if you get a 1 round, it'll end like a 1/2 inch short. If you get a 2 round, it'll go past the barrel, which I don't think would be a good thing. So, but there is a guy out there, just Google it, and he makes one. I think he sells them for like $65, $70. Don't quote me on it. I haven't bought one, as you can tell, but I'm thinking about it. And if I get one, I'll augment this video. Anyway, I'll go over some of the things that I've added onto this. First off is the forend. It's a 3-railed Mako Group tactical forend. It was really easy to switch this out. I just, you take a little tool. You can actually use needle nose pliers and just spread them out, and there's a little nut that comes out of here, and you can pull it off and pull the other one on. It does have a 2-rail slide, so that I think that's a little more sturdy than some of the cheaper shotguns. And this price point will only have 1 slide rail, and I think that's just, you're asking for trouble there if that thing gets bent up. There's nothing else to kind of support the other side. But anyway, this forend, it's got a Picatinny rail going all the way down the bottom, and it's got a little rail that you can screw on there or take it off on both sides. And on this side, what I've done is take a Streamlight Nightcom. It's not really meant to be a weapon light, but it was cheap. I think it was like 40 bucks. And at the time, I actually liked the light a lot, just to have as a handheld light. And since I didn't have anything on my shotgun, I went ahead and put it on there. I'll kind of go over the Nightcom. It's not really meant to be a weapon light, like I said, but I think it works well as one. If you don't need something for long range, you're not trying to throw light way out there. First thing you'll notice on this one is there's a little clicky. I doubt you can read that, but it says safe, xenon, high LED, low LED. And basically what you can do is you can turn this, and there's your 70 lumen xenon incandescent bulb. Click it to the next setting, and you will get a bright 2 LED red light. It still throws light out there. If you're in a dark room, you can you can see with it, but it's not, it's red, but other people can see it too. So you really have to have your night vision preserved. But if this is something that you wanted to turn on in a situation where you didn't want to instantly give away your position to someone way out there or ruin your own night vision, this would be a good option where you can see in the room at night or see wherever you're at night, not really burn your own night vision out. And then if you can see, this is just one red LED on the third setting, and that's for if you have as good a night vision as you can get. You've been in the dark for an hour, and that would be good to like read a map or look, if you dropped something and you just want to shine something really, really dim. It's probably only like 1 or 2 lumen LED, just so you can see it. But I bet if somebody, even with decent night vision, was 20 yards away, they're not going to see that light. It's interesting. I'll probably end up throwing a Streamlight Polytac LED on here. I have one on my AK and on my AR, and it's a really nice weapon light. 220 lumens, I think, or 120 lumens, I'm sorry. Really throws light out there, and it's simple. I'm not big on all these settings and stuff, like some of them have strobes. I think that's unnecessary. Moving on, I've got a side straddle. I don't remember exactly what brand that is, but it's made for a Remington 870, so that's one of the accessories I was talking about that mates up well with this. And all it is these 2 screws on the back. You pull those out that holds the receiver on there, and you pull the stock ones out and throw 2 pins in there, and they have a threaded end on the other side. And once you push them through, they screw into the side saddle, so it holds it on there. It's really sturdy. It's not going anywhere, and it holds 6 12-gauge rounds. I think this is actually the same. If you had a 20-gauge, express, this would mount up to that too and still hold 20-gauge rounds. On the back, I've got a pistol grip. It's a command arms. It's made for a Remington 870 once again. 6-positional buttstock. I think this is a great, to me, it reduces recoil. There's no kind of buffer system in there, obviously, or not even a recoil buffer. But to me, it greatly reduces recoil. And I don't know if it's because having a pistol grip, you can get some extra purchase on your weapon and kind of not just use your shoulder, but your hand and your forearm to kind of take the brunt of the recoil. And also, this is pretty cool. It's got a Picatinny rail on both sides, or on one side that can be switched to either side. Some people, I think ATI makes a 4, I think it's a 4-shot or 4-shell holder that can mount on something like this. I don't think it's necessary. I got enough rounds on here. If I need more of that, I'll probably up Crap Creek without a paddle anyway. Also, on the other side, this will hold 4 CR123 batteries, which is what most flashlights take, especially the string lights and Surefires and stuff like that. So it's nice to have that on there. So if your light did go down, you'd have spare batteries, or if you had an EOTech or something like that, which I think would be overkill for a shotgun. But you could store your batteries, some spare batteries in there, or anything else you want to throw in there, a map, a few matches, whatever the case may be. Command arms, if you look online, they get a lot of praise and a lot of people slam them. I've had a few command arms, accessory stuff, and it's all been really high quality. This used to be, I Krylon fusioned it brown, the handle guard, and this Mako forend, and I put some harsh chemicals on it, like carburetor cleaner, gun strip that wasn't really designed to be used for polymer, and this stuff really held up well. The Mako and the command arm stuff really held up well. And I've used this 12-gauge at work. I do private security, and there's every once in a while we have an intense situation where we show up with heavier artillery than just a sidearm, and this has been banged around, and all the accessories have held up well. It comes Parkerized. But the one thing about a $200 weapon out the door, the fit and finish isn't great. The fit's great. I shouldn't have said fit and finish, but the finish was okay. The part seemed really light coating, so I sandblasted it and reparkerized it with a manganese phosphate, and everything came up real smooth. It kind of speaks to the kind of quality metals that went into this. If you've ever gotten into parkerizing or whatever, you'll notice that when you part, you can take a cheap Bryco Jennings 380 and sandblast it, parkerize it at the same time, do a Smith & Wesson, And the Bryco is not going to come out looking like the Smith & Wesson. They use cheaper metals, and it gives you a not as good finish. But on this, I mean, man, this thing came up real clean. I did the receiver, the mag tube, and the barrel, and they're all just identical shades of almost black, dark gray, and it's real sturdy. It's got a real good feel to it, and I really like the gun. I would not buy a Remington 870 for $200 more, if not $300 more, than I could get this. I mean, and this is something I can bang around, and I guarantee you it's going to last 3 lifetimes. I mean, it's simple, it's smooth operating. I fed it everything from these military surplus double lock buckshot to bird shot, rifled slugs. It'll chump them all out. The cheap Walmart 12 gauge rounds, man, it'll eat them up and never jam, never do anything. Where some Mossberg, some Remington 870s, just they'll choke on that cheap ammo. This just keeps spitting it on out. So if you're looking for a tactical shotgun, I don't think you can get any better than this personally, because I've got probably $110 worth of accessories on here total, and if not, maybe a little bit more with the flashlight. But just the Mako, I think I paid $35-40 for the Mako forward grip, and I want to say I saved $65 for the pistol grip and buffer tube and stock from Command Arms. And actually, this will come off, and you could just have it as a pistol grip. I don't advise that. I think a shotgun, you need to have something in your shoulder, unless you just have to put it under a trench coat or something, which you're probably up to no good. But so for under $400, I've got a heavy duty, hardcore 12 gauge home defense weapon, or whatever you need, a tactical shotgun if you're in the kind of line of work where you need, you're a police officer or into security or whatever, in some rough areas, or just like to have something to throw in your trunk just in case something goes down. This is about as good as you can get for that price point. I mean, I'm paying less fully custom for this thing than what you're going to get a Remington 870 Express for. And I honestly believe, and there's some evidence out there that even, as it comes from the factory, this is going to be a better weapon. And people say, well, what about customer service? What about all that stuff? I can see where you're coming from with that. But if you maintain this weapon, I don't really understand why you'd ever really need customer service. The only thing that I found on this weapon that I don't like, that I think you're going to be better off with a Remington, the Remington version, the original version of this weapon, is it comes pre-tapped for a scope rail. I wanted to put a little red dot on here, because with this stock, the way your cheek weld on this stock, it's kind of hard to really get the proper sight picture on this thing, line it up, even without looking down on it. Now you can angle this. There's an adapter. You can angle this stock where it comes down. I think that looks retarded. No offense to people out there that have retarded families. It's just a word, folks. But I don't like the way it looks, and that may seem stupid to change something on your gun. But anyway, I was gonna, based on looks, but I was gonna put an optic on there, and it's like I said, it's pre-tapped for an optic, but I couldn't find one that was made for this gun. They had H&R scope rails that were for the single shot shotgun that's really popular for people that shoot skeet and stuff like that, trap. And they had have them for 870, but this is not the same setup as an 870. It's a different tap. It's a different pattern. And I've looked everywhere on the internet and gun stores. I cannot find one that's made for a Pardner protector. I don't know. I'm sure someone out there makes it, but I can't find it. I ended up having to use a different one, turn it around backwards, and it just didn't line up right, and it was a nightmare getting it off. In fact, I still have the taps. I had to grind off the end of the tap. I don't have to get them re-drilled because I couldn't get them out. They put the wrong kind of Loctite in there, and I couldn't get them out. And the heads were stripped, so I ended up having to grind it off. But that's the only hang-up I have with this weapon, is that it doesn't have. I can't find a scope rail that's made for it. I'm sure you could get it re-drilled and tapped for just a regular Remington. Probably could just line up 2 of the screws and drill a third screw, and and you'd be ready to go if you wanted to put a scope on there. What I'm going to end up doing is getting a barrel shroud that has the ghost ring on there, which will sit up a little higher. That way it'll line up better with my stock, a straight back stock. I can get, you know, proper sight picture and alignment like that. I had a vertical grip on here, and it was too long. I think a stubby would be good. On my AK, if you've watched my AK video, my M7082, I've got a Magpul AFG on there. I think that would be a good addition to this as well. I don't really like it on an AR, and I don't like if you watch my other video, you see my rant on the whole supination, arm straight out, you know, people doing this, and I think that's ridiculous for many reasons I won't, you know, redundantly go into in this video. But and a Magpul AFG would be great for this because it gives you forward and rear purchase without having to hold something like this. This doesn't feel natural on the shotgun when you pump it, you know, if you have a vertical grip. For me, you could still hold like this, but you have more purchase with an AFG. So I'll probably get another one of those and throw that on this. And like I said, a Polytac LED, and I'm going to get a barrel shroud with ghost rings on there. I'll probably be finished with this. I may go ahead and get the extender on this. I'd like to find a breacher barrel for it, but that's really more for looks than anything else. But I don't know if I got a breacher barrel for it, if I'd have to get a different kind of mag tube extension. It'd probably get hard to get one custom made for this gun. So anyway, you know, in closing, with accessories being as interchangeable with this as they are for the Remington 870, the 870's been around so long that, I mean, the market's just flooded with really good accessories at a good price point. I can't see any reason to spend $200 more for an actual 870 and get a lesser gun than, you know, what you'll get with this, and still be able to use the majority of the things you're going to want to put on there. You know, scope rails are a little bit, you know, hard to find for it, like I've said, and, you know, mag tube extensions, there's only one guy I know of out there. He's easy to find, and they're fairly affordable, but there's only one guy I know of that makes them. And then your breacher barrels, you have to get custom made because you can't just buy one for it. But there's companies out there that you can send them your barrel. They'll line it up at whatever length you want and put a breacher barrel on there. So, anywho, that's my 2 cents on the H&R Pardner pump. I think you can still get them at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I don't know if Academy or anywhere else sells them, but Dick's, when I bought mine, was $195. I think that was out the door. They were on sale, but I think the most I've ever seen them is $215. And that's, I mean, for a sturdy 12 gauge like this, you can't really beat that. And I think everybody should own a shotgun. There's just so much different kind of ammo you can put through it. I mean, it can hunt. It's good for home defense. It's not as good as I think people really think it is for home defense. Everybody thinks it's not going to go through walls, but there's been so many studies recently done that's proven that, you know, rifle rounds actually go through less walls than some pistol rounds and shotgun rounds. But we won't go into that debate. Just Google it and look up some really in-depth studies. But I mean, there's frangible ammo for this, for door breaching. You've got slugs. You've got, you know, buckshot that'll drop a person or big game. Bird shot. I mean, one weapon, and there's just a myriad of uses that you can utilize it for. So, anywho, this is what I think's probably your best option out there, especially with the full, pistol grip and an adjustable stock and a side saddle. I think you'll be in business. So, let me know what you think. Leave me some comments, and thanks for watching.